If you've heard of these songs,
Grass was always greener, thought she was a keeper. I'm a hopeless romantic.
then you've probably heard of BoyWithUke. In the last musician replay, I talked about Burnout, his final official album as BoyWithUke. He used a mix of different themes in Burnout, with love being lost, going on a bunch of Playboy-esque dates, and wanting a mix of change not only in his career, but also with his life in general. I concluded the last BoyWithUke musician replay with Charlie announcing a tour, the final tour as BoyWithUke. Since then, he has been pretty quiet, but there has been some hype about a potential B-side project, which is exactly what we'll be talking about today. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Musician Replay. Today we'll be talking about the events of BoyWithUke's career since November 2024, having his final tour, clarifying who Chandel is, and the unreleased music catalog. On Monday, November 18th, Charlie had announced the Burnout World Tour, his first tour that would have a live band instead of backtracking. He would start with Europe in February, move on to Asia and Australia in March, and finish with the United States throughout April and May. In December of 2024, he posted some TikToks promoting the tour, thanking the fans for sticking with him throughout his career as BoyWithUke. He also made 2 videos talking about some of the most difficult pieces of content he made while on past tours. He had run into the crowd trying to find his friends as part of a skit, but since this was before his face was revealed, anyone could have taken off his mask. Charlie was pretty silent since then, but on February 3rd, he posted rehearsals day 1. He was practicing for his tour, showing that he was finally going to have a live band. The next day, he made another video practicing petrichor. His tour had then officially started on February 9th, 2025. He performed one of his shows on Valentine's Day in Paris, and to his surprise, someone actually proposed there. Luckily, the girl did say yes. On March 3rd, he posted a tour documentary titled My Final Tour Part 1, which was the European leg of the Burnout World Tour. He showed his first days of rehearsals with his live band. And then he continued on with each night in Europe. During the second night in Berlin, he had a troubleshooting problem with the songs lining up with the background visuals. Luckily though, he was able to fix it right before the show. He then talks about a time after the show where he ends the BoyWithUke show, but has one more song for the real fans.
Now we wait for half the people to think that the set is over and to go to merch or go home, and once it's half empty, that's when we come back.
He ends the tour video talking about how the energy from the shows are different, but it helps keep him going. On March 20th, he posted another TikTok showing Change live. And 2 days later, he showed Toxic live. Next, he posted a TikTok talking about his food poisoning experience he had while touring in Tokyo. During the shows of Australia and Asia legs, he was also streaming, working on some music for Chandel to release in 2026. He posted another TikTok showcasing Stranger live. On April 4th, Charlie released the second part of his tour documentary. Sadly, he wasn't able to make it as long as the first since he was sick, but he was able to finally get the perfect intro to his show. He also greeted the guests by jumping out behind a wall, startling some of them. He ended the tour doc saying,
Everyone thinks it's over, but it's not. We're only getting started. That'd be cool to have like at the end.
He continued through his tour, now going through the US, continuing fishing with fans, but sadly, having to end it because of safety concerns. Luckily, Charlie added some new live renditions of past BoyWithUke songs to the setlist instead, such as Problematic and Camouflage Times Creep. He posted a live segment of the Toronto show on his YouTube, playing the first 3 songs in his setlist, Burn, Paper Planes, and Ghost. He finally ended his tour in Orlando, Florida, officially ending BoyWithUke. Or did he? We continue hearing some things from Charlie, with him streaming on Twitch on his Chandel account. He was making new music for Chandel to all hopefully release in 2026. Charlie's last stream was on June 10th. After this, the BoyWithUke community heard silence from him. Then we saw him slowly change his socials back to BoyWithUke with the mask on. He changed his profile picture and banner, with the picture having him laying down with the mask on and the banner being a strip of clouds. During his Burnout World Tour, he had mentioned the potential release of an album of old unreleased songs. This album was speculated to be called Daydreams, but it wasn't until August 18th, 3 months after tour, where he finally heard some news about the project. Charlie posted on the BoyWithUke Instagram story, "Old B-Sides coming soon." Would this mean that an album would be coming out in a day, a week, a month? When would the B-Sides come out? Well, on September 4th at 10 a.m. EST, he posted another Instagram story, BoyWithUke B-Sides, in 15 hours. This meant Daydreams, or the B-Side project, was finally ready to release on September 5th, 2025. BoyWithUke B-Sides released with 17 songs. It included Dear Hollywood, Can't Let You Go, Friends, Next Best Thing, Highs, Goodbyes, and Lows, Overthinking, Green, Terrified, Runaway, Affection, Hopeless Romantic, Blind, Enigma, Collared Shirt, Tension, Letter from My Future Ex, and Hold My Breath. In Dear Hollywood, Charlie talks about social status in the city of LA. He talks about movie actors and how they live their life as a facade of the world. BoyWithUke states, they believe they're in a movie and their movie needs a sequel, that the world revolves around the sound of their voice. Charlie continues to talk about how he sometimes acts like a jerk, but at least he lives his life in the real world. He continues on about the life of an influencer and how they believe that the world cares about every single thing they do. Charlie says that he only visits LA because when he had a label, he had to visit producers there. In the chorus he states, I don't get bitches, I get money, got real friends who think I'm funny, meaning that he doesn't focus on having many women like a playboy, but rather focuses on one woman and just makes a ton of money. He also would rather be at home where people who don't live in LA may be considered there to be horrible people, but BoyWithUke thinks the same about LA. In the second verse, he uses the same tempo from a minute-long song called No Offense. He sings about how society labels people who are sad sometimes as lame, but he couldn't care less as he knows his own worth. Charlie continues to mock the people who think they're cool by saying, if being cool means to be a fucking dumbass logically, then sure, I guess you're cool, congrats. He ends his song with the chorus, but before that, there's a pre-chorus that states, you kiss my ass and hold my cup, if you had found out who I was, it's funny how people change, soon as they recognize my face. Charlie talks about the time after he face revealed, how if people knew who he was as BoyWithUke, then they would treat him a lot differently and think he's all cool instead of just being the regular Charlie Yang they know. Can't Let You Go is next, starting with him talking about how he doesn't know if he really wants to be in a relationship, either romantically or as BoyWithUke. He may think of his BoyWithUke persona as vain and narcissistic. In the chorus, he asks, can it last forever? Will it be my end? Underneath these lies, you can hide underneath my bed. I know we're not together, I know you're not my friend. He again can be talking about either his BoyWithUke career or his romantic partner, wanting this odd relationship to last forever. Charlie wants to let this relationship go, but it's hard for him since it's a part of who he is. In the second verse, he seems to be directly talking about his facade that he puts up singing, can't you see him in my eyes, in my dreams, in between two lives. Finally, in the third verse, he feels as if fake people keep repeating things that he already knows, creating a constant echo feeling. He also strongly feels that he hates to pretend that everything is okay when his whole world / persona is built up upon a lie. Finally, he mentions his old label asking if his career as BoyWithUke is actually stable or not. The third song, Friends, is thought to have been in the works for a Spider-Verse movie. He sings, we've been friends since I met her, I'm terrified. She cold, but wearing my sweater, put her hand in mine. She's shivering, so I let her take my jacket too. He wants to be in a relationship with this friend, but he's terrified to say it. He does the classic giving her the jacket when she's cold to be a gentleman, but he still doesn't know if it means that she likes him like that. Through the first verse, he questions if he will ever tell the girl how he feels, not wanting to cross the line too far, ruining the friendship. In the bridge and the pre-chorus, he realizes that he will have to finally make the move, leading to two outcomes. Confessions lead to tough lessons, but obsession leads to depression. Next Best Thing actually appears twice in the B-Sides album, once here and then later in Green. The first verse talks about a relationship Charlie knows isn't meant for him, as the girl made him feel lonely. He believes that the grass is always greener on the other side for this girl, thinking she was a keeper, but then learning that she lied. In the second verse, he knows that no matter how hard he tries, he can never satisfy her, realizing now that he's out of the relationship, he doesn't have to deal with any of her bull anymore. The fifth song is Highs, Goodbyes, and Lows. BoyWithUke shows that he's dealing with a bunch of thoughts, the highs being the good, the goodbyes being change, and the lows being some form of depression. At the end of the chorus he states, try to make my bed instead of jumping on the mattress, meaning trying to mend broken relationships, but then losing it all in procrastination. He continues talking about feeling lost potentially in his career, also not knowing that he would lose his soul becoming the pop star known as BoyWithUke. Overthinking is the new version of the minute-long song Poker Face. In the first verse, Charlie says, "I caught a hint of the scent of your perfume, make me wish there were things I could do. I caught a glimpse of your eyes in the ocean, watch me drown in the waters you drew." He's overwhelmed by emotions for the girl he likes, wanting to drown in the ocean that is her eyes. In the pre-chorus, he lists a bunch of different contradicting statements, showing that the girl he's interested in always shows some sort of interest, but then pulls away, making him unsure of himself. In the chorus, he mentions how he can't stop overthinking and how he hates the feeling of not knowing whether she likes him or not. He states, "You find it unappealing, you kinda find it hot," showing how this girl dislikes but also likes the intensity of his feelings. Green is Next, being the second version of Next Best Thing, also being part of a minute-long song posted on January 23rd, 2023. He reuses the chorus from Next Best Thing, adding 2 lines to the end to make it green. In the first verse, Charlie talks about a relationship that is warm and going well, but he may feel different about the relationship. He states, "Cover your eyes, I don't want to hurt you. I can't go to sleep. Why the fuck are you so deep?" He doesn't want to hurt the other person in the relationship, but at the same time, he's hurting himself as she is deeply ingrained into his life. In the second verse, he asks the girl to tell him what the problem is, as she was acting differently around him. He sings a deep line, "Why don't you tell me before we run out of time?" meaning that the relationship will crumble if she doesn't express herself to him. Charlie wants to keep the relationship afloat, but he needs her to also give him the same effort. Terrified is the 8th song on the B-Sides album. This was the other song that was speculated to be in the Spider-Verse movie. In the first verse, he mentions that he's becoming someone who he doesn't want to be, running through life, strumming a ukulele, and sometimes having blurry nights that's a blatant cry for help against who he is becoming. In the pre-chorus, Charlie states that he could live countless lives, but to him, it wouldn't matter since he doesn't like who he is, and other people couldn't care who he is. In the chorus, he states how people think they know what he's like, but in reality, they have no clue what he's going through. In the third verse, he talks about a bunch of reckless things, including trying to seek self-validation by being a fool for the faces for 100 different lovers. Runaway is next, continuing the theme of Charlie's unwanted fame. He doesn't see himself as a star, but he also doesn't know what he's supposed to be. He feels as if no one notices the pain he's going through, being just a boy without a name. He states, "I wear my hood to hide my hair," talking about his facade as BoyWithUke so people wouldn't know who he truly is. Throughout the chorus and the second verse, he says he's not scared about the situation, clearly lying. He also disses himself, hating the lyrics he writes, thinking that they are all the same, but he's able to make it big through different melodies. In the final verse, he states, "Why can't I leave it all behind? Why can't I face what's on my mind? It's easy to say that I'm okay, but whenever you leave, I want to run away." Charlie wants to leave his past as BoyWithUke behind, but he wants to run away from the issues instead of facing them. He also feels as if when a particular person, probably a romantic partner, is around, he feels at ease, but when they leave, he just wants to continue running away. Affection is the next song, being one of the most anticipated songs. Sadly though, he removed many of the verses and made it more of an instrumental. Affection first appeared in a minute-long song back in February of 2023. In the pre-chorus, he talks about a relationship that he was in, then suddenly falling apart. He thought she was the one for him, and vice versa, but turns out she lied. In the chorus, Charlie talks about classic feelings of a relationship with staying up late and talking and even willing to die for her when he was perfectly healthy, maybe meaning taking care of her when she was sick. In the outro, he sings, "I'm with someone else now, but it's not the same," showing that he misses the old love he had with this person, never going to be able to find the same love he had with her. The 11th track is Hopeless Romantic, a song that had many versions and a song that people desperately wanted to come out. It was first teased in the deleted Volume 4 of minute-long songs back in October of 2022. In the first verse, BoyWithUke talks about not wanting to give up on a relationship, but then realizing that it's no longer his fight. He then asks why he romanticizes this fake relationship, feeling as if this is his life, just a perpetual cycle of a broken heart. In the pre-chorus and the chorus, he just wants to take this person down now, not even caring if she takes everything from him, but wonders why she refuses to fall away from his life. He knows he's a hopeless romantic, believing too much in a relationship that will never work out. In the second and final verse, he talks about how he's still addicted to this person, loving many aspects about them. But then, in a turn of events, he states, "Evidently, I'm at peace when you leave," finally realizing he's better off without her in his life. He also talks about his career singing, "I keep going in circles, I'm a slave to the stream, I can't seem to escape." Charlie knows his whole life is based upon music streams, not ever being able to take a break from releasing music, as the label most likely controlled when and what he was going to produce. Blind is next, with the chorus being used in the Volume 4 minute-long song on February 25th, 2023. He also used the same chorus in Blue when that came out on Lucid Dreams back in October of 2023. Many fans were disappointed that the original Blind wasn't released, but now we found out that this was partially due to the label. Now we have the original Blind starting off with the first verse that was used in Baby Doll. He talks about not wanting to hear a certain voice, most likely the label. He states, "Only said it because they don't want to listen. Some say it's a product of a vision I don't f with, but it's not my decision." Charlie shows that most of his songs from Serotonin and Lucid Dreams were controlled by the label, wanting him to release a product he wasn't happy with. In the chorus, he goes back to talking about a romantic relationship, wanting to push his partner out of his life as if he feels that he will just hurt her and hold her back from her true self. Enigma was another song people have been waiting an extremely long time for. It dated back to an Instagram post from March of 2022. Now it has officially been released. Charlie starts the song talking about a girl he is in love with. He believes that no matter what, she's the most beautiful thing to him, especially focusing on her pretty colored eyes. In the chorus, he asks how she can be this lovely, and also saying that she'll never know about his feelings, since he's not that bold. In the second verse, he states, "We shouldn't be more than just friends. I've got someone I don't want to lose, but you were the one for me, it's true." Charlie wants to stay friends with this person, but also doesn't, as he wants something more, thinking she is the one who's made for him. Collared Shirt is next, having been originally on the track list for his 2021 album Fever Dreams. No one knows why it was taken off, but now we finally have it released. Charlie continues talking about a girl that he wants to not like, but can't seem to let her go. He sings, "I don't give a damn about you, but I do. I wish it weren't true. I follow you on Instagram too." He can either be talking about a relationship that he wants, but also doesn't want, or a relationship that had a fallout, continuing to follow her on Instagram, trying not to change anything else. He continues the song about his old job working a 9 to 5, hating that aspect of life. In the second verse, he talks about his high school years, hating that no one cared about how he felt as he assumably went through a tough time during high school. He also states, "I stare at the back of your hair, I bet you would want to play games with me all the time and I could call you pretty." He continues to fantasize about this girl, wanting to be able to call her pretty to her face. Tension is a short song no one had ever heard before. Honestly, I think it's pretty underrated, but sadly, it only has a chorus. It also doesn't really sound like a BoyWithUke song, but potentially more like a Chandel song. He sings, "Why'd you let your head down?" He is either talking about himself in the third person or someone he has a close relation to, asking why they are letting their guard down. He continues with talking about a collared shirt, then saying, "of flannel," or "I'm flared out." Charlie is either talking about the comfort he gets from the collared shirt or talking about the tension in the air. That leads to the next two lines, "Tension in the air now, silent but it's so loud." He knows that there's something going on between him and potentially his romantic partner, having the silence between them speak volumes. The 16th song is Letter from My Future Ex. This was originally released on SoundCloud back on June 9th, 2021, but now is released on all streaming platforms. He talked about his past girlfriends and even to his future ones, saying that he can move on and fall in love again without them. He then goes on to say that he will make his ex want him again even though he doesn't want to. He also states in the chorus, "But I've made up my mind and I don't want to play guitar." This is because he only wants to play the ukulele. But now, that line is very contradictory as he moved on to play the guitar in Burnout. The final song on BoyWithUke B-Sides is Hold My Breath. It was part of Volume 1 of minute-long songs released back in early 2021. Hold My Breath was originally supposed to be released on Fever Dreams like Collared Shirt was, but now it is finally released. In the first verse, BoyWithUke states that he calls someone every night so then he doesn't get too far away from himself. He wants to stay grounded in reality. In the chorus he states, "Don't know who I'd be if I didn't find you," meaning that he feels a sense of security in this person, not wanting to let go of them because it would hurt who he is. In the second verse, Charlie makes the notion of finding this person wherever they are because the romantic relationship feels right together. He then takes a turn talking about a loss of a relationship. He wants to always wait for them no matter if he stays waiting forever. Finally, in the third verse, he talks about feeling conflicted. He wants to be with this person, but also doesn't. He also feels as if his life is a show, only being shown the flaws in everything that he does. BoyWithUke B-Sides is an album that doesn't really have a story to it, but most of the songs are about relationships and connections. He longs for a real relationship, wanting a girl who he loves and who also loves him back. He also talks about fakeness, not wanting to live with a facade of an international pop star. Charlie wants to be his true self, living the best life for him and not for others. This finally concludes BoyWithUke's story, but many people have been wondering about his other unreleased music that people have been wanting for years. This would include Miami, God, I Really Want This One, Fundamental Feelings, La La Land, Issues, Apricity, Anxious, Not Gonna Lie, Wait For You, and Jean Shorts. Maybe someday he'll release a BoyWithUke C-Sides album, then I would definitely make another video on those. Sadly, as of right now, we have no other information on BoyWithUke. All we know is that Chando will most likely be coming in 2026. It's the final chapter for BoyWithUke. It's a new beginning for Charlie, and the funny yet lyrically deep character BoyWithUke has finally come to an end.